What is up, homies? Welcome back. I'm gonna take the next 2 minutes to kind of just get some word jumble out. Journaling itself was arduous. It was a task at first. It was a learning curve that I accepted but did not want to learn or overcome. This all stemmed from being alone when leaving my job and leaving my relationship, to where at that point in time there was no logical explanation as to why I was doing that. So I was pretty isolated in my mind in terms of being able to declutter through conversation with other people. Because at that time, I nor my friends were equipped with the capacity to really have a deeper level of conversation about that phase of life, right? And so when it came down to journaling, it was a part of the morning pages exercise, and 480 days as of this morning. And my first morning page entry ever was May 2023. And that was about 1.5 months, maybe even less than that, 1 month post leaving my corporate career. It was such an amazingly unique experience because I threw out all of my paper and pens and notebooks after university. I think the hardest part about journaling was being inside of my own head and having to actively organize and articulate all of these thoughts, and then physically translate all of this through my hand into the paper. And my handwriting, oh my gosh, it was terrible. It was so bad that I couldn't even read my notes most of the time thereafter. And I didn't really go back and read my journals, but when I did, it was really hard for me, even though I'm the one writing it, to actually understand what the heck I was trying to say. What was I talking about? It was really difficult at first. It was really, really difficult, and there was a lot of points where I wanted to give up, because at that point in time, the exercise of morning pages required me to write 3 full pages of journal. As you know, I did not have an employer, so I had a lot of time and little excuse. 15 minutes, 1 page, half a page, a paragraph, even a few sentences is all you need to do to start. It's all you need to do to start. You don't have to set this as another work or another task in addition to the rest of your life, right? Yes, any learning curve is going to be hard. Being a beginner stinks. It's really, really tough to be a beginner at anything. But I can guarantee you, you will not regret it, because once you hop over that learning curve, and you get to that point where it's just smooth sailing, you are able to then look back at that moment where you said, I am going to commit to this curve. I'm going to commit to being a beginner. I'm going to commit to the pursuit of knowledge. Journaling becomes one of those processes that repays you in full and then some. It allows you to organize your thoughts, declutter your own mental space by yourself without any conversation needed. To get to that point where you can learn to verbalize in your words, not just in your written word, but in your verbal word, that in and of itself becomes a unique skill that a lot of people never really refine, because we only are doing what we're told to be doing. When you're working on your own business, or you're working on your passion, or you're working on any new skill or hobby, there's no one really telling you that you have to do it. It's you and you. It's a you and a you kind of, I wouldn't say battle, but a you and you team effort. Like, you are your boss and you are your employee. You are your coach and you are the player. And you have to figure out how to balance this boss me has to discipline employee me to get this work done, right? So with journaling, you kind of have to sit there every morning or every other morning, whatever really feels right for you at the time, and say, hey, I know this is hard, I know this is difficult, but I know this is going to benefit me in the short term and in the long term. So what do you write about? What did I write about? I wrote about anything and everything that came into my mind. In the very first entry, I'm writing a paragraph about how this is going to be an interesting experience, how I'm really pursuing arts and creativity, this part of my brain that I didn't really get to flex too much in my last job. And right in between that first paragraph and the next paragraph, I indent and I write, my hand is tired. My hand is tired. And I realized at that very first entry that I have the fluidity and the freedom to write about whatever comes to mind. Even if it's, I'm tired right now of writing this, my hand hurts, and I don't want to keep writing, but I'm going to keep writing because I think it's worth it. That's fine. The purpose of the process is to articulate your mind. It is to declutter your mental space without the need of doing anything else or of going anywhere else or with anyone else, right? And so when you choose to write, understand that you have absolute autonomy and control over what comes through your hand onto that paper. And find even a little minuscule bit of solace in that, of, okay, like this doesn't have to be some arduous task. This can be an actual inviting and welcoming experience to myself. And before you know it, your hand will become less tired. You'll be flexing your forearm less as you're writing anxiously, trying to finish your 3 pages or your 1 page, whatever it is, and eventually become a relaxed flow, right? You think of writers. I have such a deep appreciation for writers, poets, like all the way down to like Shakespearean times. Like these people sat down with themselves and they just grabbed their quill and ink or their pen or their pencil and they just wrote. They just wrote whatever came through their head. It's this wild process that allows creativity and allows your soul and your spirit, in a sense, to really express itself fully without any judgment or fear. And the self-imposed judgment and the self-imposed fear that you initially have and that you place upon yourself to be perfect and to make sure that there's no mistakes, it'll dissipate. It'll fade away over time. I remember crossing out words and crossing out lines at the very beginning of my journals because I didn't know what my thoughts were. I didn't know how to organize them or create cohesive paragraphs. At this point in time, I think it was on day like 425, my journaling changed dramatically. Now it's not a journal about healing or decluttering. Now it's a journal about business building. It's about entrepreneurship and creativity and the art of self-expression and vulnerability and how I am allowing myself to go through these different tasks and process that I'm doing while building this community here on YouTube and Instagram and my website, all of these different facets of skills that I didn't have. Believe it or not, all of them involve creative writing, none of which I did before May 2023. And I look back at my life now and I'm looking at all of this past year of, I don't know, wins, I guess I could say, that all include writing and vulnerability and speaking clearly and concisely and articulating all these thoughts in real time. And writing has given me the ability to start this community, to start this business, to start talking to this camera in a way that is fluid and concise. And all of these videos that you guys are watching are in one take. I'm not filming and cutting and editing everything into these different clips. No, it's all one take. It's allowed my brain to analyze in real time and decide which direction I want to take these conversations with you guys and also the conversations I have with my clients. And so it's a re-fulfilling process. It's a replenishing process. By writing and expressing myself every morning, I'm able to organize my thoughts better and better and better. And then in real-time conversations, whether it's strangers or people or clients or friends or family, I now have this deepened ability to articulate my entire thought and to understand what they're trying to express through their words and be able to guide these conversations in a way that 2 years ago, I couldn't do, at least not at this efficacy. And being able to bridge the gap between spirituality and practicality is a really big ode to the process of writing and the process of journaling. And so if you're thinking about journaling or if you're used to journal and you haven't journaled, I would highly recommend that you pick up a pen and paper and you just start. Start with anything. Start with, I am scared to write right now, and see where that leads you. Be as vulnerable as you can in this paper, in this space, in this little 11 by 8 space, or ideally pick a smaller journal to start with. You want to make the reward system, the gamification of journaling easier. And so I buy really small journals, maybe like 5 inches by 6 inches. I don't know, that's a guess. But small, compact journals that I can take wherever I want, that I can have on my bedstand without taking up the whole entire space, and that I can fill up the page with a 15-minute break of thought, with a 15-minute reflection in the morning. That way I'm not feeling discouraged trying to fill up an 11 by 8 paper or composition notebook and then getting discouraged from trying it again the next day. You want to be able to set the right expectation and the right goalposts for yourself in the beginning. And now I only write a page a day. I don't do 3 pages. That helped me get started with the process. But for me, a page is exactly the right amount. And it gives me the time and the flexibility and the freedom of creativity and self-expression every single day. And it only provides me with a win. If I skip a day, I just write the morning page and the date, and I write what I did that day. And then I write an X, like a cool X around it in the center, so that I'm still tracking the morning page, but when I look back at the days I missed, I can actually see why I missed it. Don't beat yourself up for skipping a day of writing. This should be only a positive and replenishing cycle. Go through the learning curve, accept that you're a beginner, make it easy in terms of your expectations on yourself. Buy practical tools such as a pen that you don't have to you can replace, and a journal that is small enough to fill, in order to make this process as accessible as possible for yourself. All that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have a little bit more confidence in yourself with starting journaling or any new skill for that matter. If you didn't know, I have an online coaching business where I help people declutter their minds through guided conversation. You can check out my links in the description below. My name is Julian, aka The Professional Homie. I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.